Well spotted.
Shit. He's brought a whole battalion with him. Might even be more inside already.
Hey, I'm flattered that he's taking us so seriously.
We need to get through that gate.
All right, we'll slow down. Gotta take care of these jokers first.
You have a plan?
Yeah. Sure.
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Quest for the New Heir. At first I found myself quite critical of this revamped lineup that no longer has its franchise character. In the beginning I saw some flaws, and originally felt that Uncharted: The Lost Legacy was on its way to being a subpar Uncharted, due to the developers having set such a high standard for expectations in video games. Luckily I was convinced otherwise, that this title keeps up with the level of quality Naughty Dog games are known for. In my first impressions, I was led to believe that Nadine was a hollow character due to the mysterious backstory, and also appeared uneducated after seeing Chloe educate her about several artifacts and locations. My view was pleasantly altered after seeing Nadine show more prowess in other fields like ecology and military strategy. Much like Sherlock Holmes only hones his information around topics that strengthen his passions, he still has Watson around for levity and the otherworldly subjects. Nadine's progression showed an uptake, and even though Chloe is the queen on this adventure, Nadine definitely held her own, especially later in the tale, and quickly grew on me. Hopefully we will see a lot more of Nadine in future tales. As for location and set pieces, which is a series hallmark, I found a nice variety of spectacular moments interlaced with quality woven dialogue that had a few moments where I found myself chuckling or have my feelings tested. For the sake of not spoiling the story, let's say Naughty Dog has covered its bases with types of vehicle-based spectacles, as well as DD culture-related showcases. In the style of previous Uncharted's treasure-seeking and puzzle-solving, we are gifted with both metagames. They are quite generous in helping the player more often this time too, by allowing the player to find a device that senses treasures in close proximity. Most puzzles are quite simple to figure out. Those that are not quick to puzzle solve will also be pleased to know that resetting is quick and painless to retry with fluid initialized puzzle objects and responsive animations. A lot of detail has gone into small items to a level I haven't seen in Uncharted before. There's a moment that a certain important item that was already quite exquisite becomes even more complicated and intricate. Some moments in Lost Legacy come right out of the Last of Us playbook. There's a lot of just watch and enjoy this moment nods in the game that are amplified by photography options and occasional dialogue. All of these metagames inside the game definitely help flesh out the experience and lengthen playtimes. There is a certain area in the Lost Legacy that is an attempt at a possible open world set piece, where you can drive where you please and are not held to the typical linear pathing that has been a standard for the Uncharted series. This section has a few hits and some misses. The game's beauty has a way of making you think that everything is important, so a lot of the time you're jumping in and out of the vehicle just to have a location come up fruitless and not being able to interact or jump up any structure. It appears Naughty Dog attempted to combat this with a map that I found caused pacing issues due to constantly needing to pull it up, checking to make sure I was still driving in the right direction in correlation to where I wanted to treasure hunt next. Usually Naughty Dog has a way of guiding you with eye-provoking tarps or bright-colored bars as objects to interact with by climbing or treasure hunting. While everything was quite beautiful in this open space, it was one section that could have used a little more eye-catching objects to help the player from not wasting their time climbing up on climbable rock faces and jumping up invisible walls. If Uncharted moves towards an open world style, they may want to pull a page from Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, open world map / mission approach, which was a masterclass system and had very little open world fatigue. Overall, locations and set pieces wise, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy fared quite well, with a helpful hand by way of character growth in all moments. Enemies in Uncharted are varied enough, and I felt quite rewarded by the level of stealth in this title, which was farther rewarded by the trophy you earn by not using a weapon for a certain amount of time in the game. As for the main antagonist, it played out more run-of-the-mill archetype with stereotypical overtones. I can't elaborate further due to not wanting to spoil your experience. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is more about adventuring and character building than it is about finality. I'm not saying that this isn't that. A lot of time is just spent on enjoying different locations and treasure opportunities. It is very reminiscent of the first riverbed in Uncharted: Drake's Fortune, and just that sense of wanting to look around and amazement that this quality can be etched into a video game. I know often people don't hold the first Uncharted above the sequels, but it was an evolutionary step above Jak and Dexter. It was nice to feel this way about Uncharted, instead of only being an increase in gameplay mechanics and engine-related additives. It was a breath of fresh air. Being a departure by not having its seminal character was a growing experience. This was the case for the entirety of this title by way of Naughty Dog testing the waters to see if Chloe can captain several new Uncharted titles. We will see whether these characters can grow on you as much as Nathan, Elaine, and Sully did in the past. If Uncharted can enter the open world successfully, besides some tweaks to the open world exploration becoming more navigational to minimize fatigue, this game is a step in the right direction. It may share a decent amount of what's already been done in Uncharted games, much like Star Wars A New Hope shares some similarities to The Force Awakens. Hey, if a recipe works, well, you usually cook it the same and add on once it's cooked. This is Uncharted The Lost Legacy in a nutshell, and it really works out. This game is a must-buy. It's the future first step into several new Uncharted games, and even though it had a wobbly start, by the end it most certainly found its legs, and for the most part accomplished what it set out to do. It's a great game, and a title that needs to be in your PS4 collection or your digital library. As always, if you like what you see here, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. We here at Broke Left Stick Games appreciate you stopping by, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
All right, we're clear.
For real this time.
You handled yourself fine, all things considered.
What things are those?
No real combat training.
Ah,
Slightly impulsive. Run around the field like a maniac. Need to learn what short, controlled burst means.
right.
And lost. Wearing red in a jungle combat scenario. I mean, seriously.